So the art of allowing really is about continually moving up the emotional scale. It's about continually reaching for the vibration that connects you with the resources of that which you are. And think about it. When we say you're an extension of source energy, do you hear what we're really saying? You're an extension of source energy because you are a vibrational equivalent to this pure positive energy. But when you find things on your planet, in your physical environment, that are upsetting to you, and you beat the drum of them and beat the drum of them until you activate them within your vibration, you change your frequency to the point that you no longer match the frequency of your own inner being. When we said to you, we do not encourage you to lower your vibration in order to help people that you love feel better because you've joined them in their misery, the reason that we say that to you with such confidence is because we know that source energy never lowers its vibration in order to comfort you. The reason you feel negative emotion is because source energy doesn't do that. The reason negative emotion feels like negative emotion feels is because it's a vibrational difference from something you have chosen. That's why your guidance works, you see. Oh, please say you understood that. That is such an important thing to understand. In other words, when you get it, that negative emotion means you've adjusted yourself out of the range, and your inner being, your God force, didn't adjust itself down there with you. It stayed consistent with the well-being that it is, knowing that if it stays there, that you will eventually rejoin it again. You may have to die to do it, but you will eventually rejoin it again. So this gathering is about rejoining it now, rejoining it on purpose, rejoining it thought by thought, by doing your best to get there. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss, and his words were perfect. That is what we are wanting you to do too. Rejoin your bliss, follow your bliss. We even like his words, follow your bliss, because he didn't say find your bliss, wrestle your bliss to the ground. He didn't say insist on your bliss. He said follow your bliss. He meant get pointed in the direction of it and do your best to move in the direction of it. But we notice that sometimes, even though you'd like to find bliss, when you're in despair, you can't even get a whiff of bliss. And when someone hammers at you, you know you're the creator of your own reality. You should be doing a better job. That doesn't help you feel more bliss. That just makes you reinforce your awareness that you're not where you want to be. We're wanting you to realize that the path to bliss really is so simple. The path to bliss is finding the best feeling thought that I can find right now. It is doing the best that I can do now. And so if you are understanding that there is allowing on one end and resisting on another, that there is bliss on one end and despair on the other, that there is feeling of empowerment on one end and disempowerment on the other, can't you also acknowledge that as you are reaching for allowance, that the feeling of leaving resistance behind would feel like relief? And that's the key that will help you to follow your bliss. You're reaching for the relief of leaving resistance behind. When you quench your thirst, there's a relief, isn't there? When you satisfy your hunger, there's a relief. When you answer a question, there's a relief. When you feel better, there's a relief. So we want you to leave here today announcing quietly to the world that you have decided to be the selfish bugger that you were born to be. And that nothing is more important than that you feel good, because in reaching for what feels better, you are leaving the resistance behind. And the feeling better is the relief factor. It's the key to understanding the emotional journey. So we see someone in despair, true despair. They feel utterly disempowered. Things are not going well at all for them. They are desperate in their feeling of despair. And someone says, follow your bliss, and while it sounds good, there's no connection to them in that. They are miles away from anything that would feel like bliss. But they innately, with their inner being's guidance, do have access to thoughts of revenge or rage. They have access to those thoughts because those thoughts are further up the emotional scale, and there is a relief factor in the feeling of revenge or rage over the feeling of despair. Isn't there? Would you rather feel despair and total disempowerment, or would you rather feel rage? Some of you are afraid to say it because rage and revenge, those are bad words. You're not supposed to show anger of any kind. In other words, anger. Oh, there are anger management seminars. We know that. We're here to teach you to be angry if you are in despair. We would never coach you into anger from frustration. That's going the wrong way. That's taking away relief. That's putting on more feeling of discomfort. Most of you weigh in emotionally somewhere around frustration and overwhelmment, while you can dip into the lower registries depending on different subjects. And we also acknowledge that on some subjects you're in different places than on other subjects. On money you could be feeling pretty good, while on relationships you're not feeling so sure of yourself. In other words, there's all kinds of variation, but for the most part you've got a motor running, and that motor is a vibrational offering that is equaling the way life is treating you, what you're getting back. And what we are here to remind you of here today is that with far less effort than you've ever thought, with far less effort than it takes to learn QuickBooks on your computer, you can move up the emotional scale. You can take the emotional journey. We want to make your journey from not enough money to more money, from not enough love to more love, from not enough wellness to more wellness. We want to help you take that journey from where you don't want to be to where you want to be. We want to help you make it an understandable journey. You've got to be able to tell if you're moving in the right direction, because we see so many of you start to move in the right direction, then listen to the opinion of someone else and move in the opposite direction, and then you regain your resources and you start to move in the right direction, but then you take score too soon. You say, I can't tell if I'm moving in the right direction because my body isn't healed yet, or because the money hasn't landed in my bank account, or because my lover isn't in my bed yet. And we say, friends, you got to stop taking score and start feeling the vibrational countenance. And when you consistently feel better, everything begins working for you. And those who are watching you think you are magic. Those who are watching you say to you, what in the world are you doing? What's changed in you? And you tell them, I stopped beating up on myself, and I stopped listening to everybody else's idea of how I should feel, and I started caring how I feel, and I started reaching thought by thought for the best feeling I could find. And it was uncomfortable at first because I've practiced for years hating the Democrats. I've practiced for years hating the Republicans. I've practiced for years hating the Muslims, hating the Christians. I've practiced for years these things that I had to let go of, because I discovered that I could not push against things that I did not want and maintain my connection to well-being at the same time. So I had to give up a whole bunch of practiced debate tools. I had to stop thinking my way so much and start feeling my way. And then, little by little, I started clicking into the resources that are me. I started feeling better. I started loving more. I started tasting better. I started appreciating more things. I started seeing the beauty in more things, and more things of beauty began showing up in my experience. And the balance of good and bad in my experience became proportionate to that of the universe, where almost everything I saw is lovely and wonderful, and only occasionally do I stumble upon something that isn't. I came back into the resources of that which is my legacy. And you can too. That's what you'll tell them. You can too.